plowing and yard waste. That's November 2010. And they eliminated 11 positions. February, which is 4 months later, Groot Industries came back and said, we need $700,000 more dollars. And the City Council voted unanimously to give it to them. So they bailed them out. This year, they want to eliminate 11 positions, which is 9 layoffs because 2 are vacant. And guess how much money they're going to save by laying off those people? $700,000. You don't have to be a math genius to see that there's no moral compass attached to their calculator.
You know, if you really look closely at what the city is planning to do, you can see from any way you look at it, it doesn't make any sense. Number one, it's going to result in a diminution of services to the city. If they go through with this plan, the work that will be done in the Forestry Department by the private contractor doesn't cover all of the services currently performed by the city. So even if it were cheaper, which I'll get to in a minute, which it isn't, you get less services.
We looked at Group, and you see a poor example of what privatizing is all about. But I do have a story in regards to 20 inches of snow. I do have a story in regards of workers who were here for 3 days, who didn't go home because we cared about getting the streets open for the residents.
Thank you.
So we hope to stop any privatizing, any more layoffs. It is an end to the quality services that Evanston residents have depended upon, including myself.
Number two, it doesn't factor in, and Kevin alluded to it, the fact that many city employees are cross-trained. Many of the people in the Forestry Department worked to clean up the city last winter when we had those terrible storms. And if you've seen the reports recently of the forecast for this winter, this is supposed to be the worst winter we've had in decades. In fact, on the East Coast today, they're facing snowstorms from Boston across to Pennsylvania as a result of the winter weather that's coming. So how is the City Council preparing for it? By eliminating jobs of people who can keep the streets clean. Now, Kevin mentioned last winter. I used to live in Evanston myself. In fact, I don't live far from here now. I remember 1979. Remember that big snowstorm when Jane Byrne got elected mayor of Chicago? I remember city workers keeping the streets clean so we could get around this city. And if this city council contracts out these jobs, we won't be able to get around the city of Evanston come winter. What kind of savings is that? If people can't get to work because the streets aren't plowed, they can thank the city council for that.
You know that we have some of the highest parking meter fees in the country because of privatizing the parking meters a couple of years ago. Do you know that the east-west toll road was built, which was built with public money in the 50s, was leased for 99 years by the state? Imagine that, 5 generations. The result was a doubling of tolls, longer waits at toll booths, dirty rest stops, and a loss of toll revenue for the state, and the hidden costs as well for the people. In 2008, the state of Indiana had to reimburse the private toll road operator $447,000 for waiving tolls of people evacuated during severe flooding. Maybe some of you know that there was a federal study of the costs of privatization, which concluded that public services cost far less than private. There's so much evidence to show that people lose when they privatize. And I just want to say another thing about privatizing that is so insidious is that when a private operator gets a service like this, like these, we lose because we don't have any say in it.
One other piece of weird math. Before they privatized yard waste to Groot, it cost $450,000 a year. Guess what it cost this year after they privatized it? $750,000 a year. a moral compass. That's why we're here today.
I'm your past. I speak for all that are retired, that are part of my subchapter, the subchapter 161 of AFSCME retirees. We got a number of us here. We're here to support you. Okay. But we're also here to remind you of a glorious past that some here know about. The old hands. You new guys, you don't. You new guys, this is probably something that's shocking you that it can happen. We've seen this happen before. But we also know that we're not ciphers. We're not entries on a balance sheet. We have been, we are, in our hearts, still public servants.
That's right.
August 1995. Probably you've forgotten it, but I haven't. Glenn Sanders remembers. North Shore Hotel fire. 240 residents out on the street at 7 in the morning, taken out by the fire department because of an electric vault fire outside of the hotel. Couldn't return. Heat was rising. It was 72. That summer, over several hundred people had already died in Chicago from heat exhaustion. They had a crisis. The city came together. Guys were pulled off their jobs. We got those people to the Crown Center. We got intake workers with them. We even had the kids who are working the summer youth sit with them to help them calm out, listen to their stories, collect themselves. This is what a city worker is about. This is who you are. This is your heritage. This is your strength. Stay organized. Stay strong. We can beat this.
Whatever else the contractor do, one thing we know for sure. The people who do the work that our members now do, whether they do it as well or not, and I don't think they'll do it as well, are going to be paid less money. This is part of the attack on the middle class in this country to drive down wages, drive down benefits. I don't think our members who work for the city of Evanston don't have to apologize for the money they make. None of them get rich doing their jobs. As Charlie said, they are public servants. They make a decent pay, but none of them are getting rich. They'll have retirement security if they keep their jobs, but they don't have to apologize for that. They have access to decent health care. They shouldn't, and every worker should have access to that. The people who work for this private company, I can guarantee you, they won't have retirement security, they won't have decent insurance, and their pay rates will be driven down. That's not what this community is supposed to be about. Evanston prides itself, we care about working people. We're liberal in this town. Well, if they're a liberal in this town, they won't drive down wages. If they're a liberal in this town, they won't privatize services. If they're a liberal in this town, they'll make sure that the people who provide the services are decently compensated. And that's the message we've got to take into that city hall right now and send that strong message to every member of the council. We're not going to back down. We're not going to let them drive down our wages. And they've got to decide which side they are on. Are they on the side of the middle class, or do they just want to help to put profits into the pockets of those who already have too much? That's the question for the city council, and that's the way we have to pose it.
But I want to let you know what it means for the local, for everybody to come out and support us. One, we appreciate you. Never think that we don't. We do this because we are about the community. There's those of us who were born here, who were raised here. We live here. We give the services because we care about the city.